Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome to Freedom Fest 2016 live from the floor. Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is the last day.
Why do you sound so bored? You're like live from the.
I barely have a voice left.
Live.
We've talked so much in the
From
last
Planet Hollywood,
live.
Nevada. Freedom Fest 2016. We have an amazing guest.
We do have an amazing guest.
Go ahead.
Did you think maybe I was saving all that energy to announce Miss Nicole Sanders from Student for Liberty? Did you even consider that for a second?
Yes, and that's why I gave the energy for the first part. I reinvigorated energy for
Anytime
the
you're
first part
done.
so that you could have the energy for the important part. Because that's how we work.
Zach Clint is with me. Nicole joins us. Nicole, good afternoon.
Hi.
So you have kind of a cool story. First of all, tell us about Students for Liberty, and then I want to talk about your case that you had. So tell us first about Students for Liberty.
Students for Liberty is an international organization, and we promote the libertarian philosophy all around the world. We have Students for Liberty on every continent except Antarctica.
Can we work on that? Can we get some Antarctica going?
Yeah, you're working to change it. Like we have like Penguins for Liberty or something.
I mean, if we're going to change the world, we got to hit all the continents,
We've got to
right?
get Antarctica.
What do you guys? What sort of programs, grassroots programs, et cetera, do you guys utilize in order to help promote your movement? And what's the demographic you're going after? You going after just the youth? I know it's Students for Liberty, but the message isn't just to youth, is it?
We mostly go after just youth. All of our Students for Liberty are on college campuses, and we help out other liberty-minded groups.
And you guys do a lot of door knocking, information sessions, stuff like that in a way to promote that?
No, we do mostly activism on campus, so free speech, ending the war on drugs, that type of stuff.
Is there an effort to get that movement into high schools and maybe start a little bit younger so that when they get to college they're kind of prepared to really get into that movement?
I believe there are some in high school.
Awesome.
Outstanding.
Now, you have a very interesting First Amendment case that you brought against your old college. Can you talk about that? Or your college, rather. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. Last February of 2015, I started a Young Americans for Liberty chapter at Blinn, and I was on campus recruiting so I could have a first meeting letting students know, hey, we have this liberty-minded group on campus. And I was holding up a sign that said defend gun rights on campus. It was during we had a campus carry bill going through the session, going through session at the time, and so we were just promoting it. It's awesome to talk about a current event, and in Texas, how else to get students to stop and want to sign up and talk about guns? And so
how wise.
So yeah, I was out with a friend, and we were out for about an hour and a half, and then we were approached by administration and 3 armed police officers, and said that a student emailed the administration and they were offended by our sign.
How dare you?
And they escorted us off campus. And we videotaped the whole thing.
And it's not like you just wandered onto this campus and started. You're a student there.
Yes.
And prior to that, had you seen other people and other students holding signs that maybe for activism in other regards?
No, because the Republican and the Democrat chapters on my campus, they don't do anything.
Okay, so you were exercising your free speech under the First Amendment, supporting the Second Amendment in a nonviolent way.
Yes.
And it's a public college.
It is. My mistake was I was outside of the free speech area.
Well, and that's
You
kind
mean you
of
were outside of America?
Yeah. What country were you in?
Yeah. Were you in Mexico at the time?
Because the last time I checked, everywhere is a free speech.
Right. So Texas is near Mexico, so perhaps you took a left turn instead of a right turn, and you ended up in Mexico, south of the border.
You're 100% positive you were in America?
100% positive.
Okay, and you were outside the free speech zone.
Yes.
Where is the free speech zone in America?
Yeah, I want to know about that. Did they explain to you ever that there was a free speech zone prior?
I did not know there was one. My sponsor for my chapter did not know there was a free speech area. And it turned out it was about the size of the parking space.
Oh, awesome. So in order to use your free speech, which the last time I checked, the Constitution pretty much covered all of America and its territories, but they've, on that campus, whittled that down to the size of a parking spot.
With a big blue billboard in the middle of it.
Well, I mean, let's be honest.
Who doesn't need a big blue billboard?
Right, especially in the
honestly?
middle of your First Amendment.
Right.
So
I'm pretty sure the founders in the debates on the Constitution
specifically
they said
cited big blue billboards.
big blue billboards
Yes.
and free speech.
And free speech.
That's why almost every church, I think, has a big blue billboard because
Yes.
it's part of that whole First
Right,
Amendment.
I agree with that. And
Right.
also, did they make you pay for parking in that free speech zone?
No, they did
I
not.
figured they would just rent the spot to try to make
Right,
a couple
because
bucks
you would,
off of free
you would need a
speech.
parking permit to take the parking space and a free speech permit to exercise your rights.
Okay, so obviously the college had completely stepped away from reality and decided that they were just going to impose these magical things that didn't exist, like free speech zones. Obviously, you stopped when you were contacted. You videotaped it. You
Yes.
followed the orders, and you turned around and you filed a lawsuit.
Yes, with the Foundation for Individual Rights and Education.
And what then happened?
It took about a year. I was one of my professors intimidated me. I was actually my ceramics professor. It was my blow-off class.
Take that.
Wait. You were intimidated by a ceramics professor?
I was.
Wow.
What happened with that?
What happened with ceramics? When did it get so violent?
He told me
Seriously.
I better be careful who I bring onto campus because he is going to protect me and mine. That would quote me and mine.
Now,
and that
did he-
I better think about what I'm doing.
Really?
Wow. Was that included in the lawsuit?
It was.
Good.
Yes.
Awesome.
Good.
Did anything happen to that professor?
No, because I couldn't get it on. I didn't record it, so it was my
Oh, so it
word
didn't
against
happen.
his word.
Yeah,
And-
because if it's not recorded, no matter what we have with evidentiary laws and et cetera, it must not have happened.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
So he lied and said that he didn't say that?
I'm not quite sure what he said,
Okay.
but I
Very
do
little.
know his stepdad is on the board of my school.
Huh.
So-
I'm sure there's no favoritism
Yeah.
because stuff like that's never happened. So lawsuit goes to court.
No, it's settled.
They settled out of court. Interesting.
Yes.
I wonder why they wouldn't want to go to court. Clint, can you think of one reason why they wouldn't want to go to court?
Only that they wouldn't want to go public with the information.
Weird, right?
Because they realize that they are so screwed up.
So did you, on the settlement, I assume they made a settlement.
Yes.
Was part of the settlement anything to do with the free speech zone? Other than the fact that your First Amendment rights were ripped away, you were threatened by a faculty member. Was any part of it fixing the free speech zone idiocracy?
We got rid of the free speech
Yay,
zone.
so now you can't speak anywhere on campus.
And the speech codes are now in line with the First Amendment.
Outstanding.
Excellent. So let me ask you this: is there a speech and debate team at this college?
No, it's a community college. It's a
Okay.
feeder school for Texas A&M.
Okay, so there's no like speech classes or anything like that they offer.
You could take a
there?
speech class,
Now,
yes.
did they have to, when they were going to do a project, did they have to go to that zone prior to your lawsuit?
Right, because you think they would be doing their free speech as part of their project.
Right,
So you
in
would,
that zone.
right, you would have to. I'm guessing that never happened.
No.
Did you receive any sort of retribution or anything like that after the case?
Yeah, I was awarded $50,000.
Awesome. And in any way, shape, or form, did anyone target you after the case?
Just my professor.
Oh, that's all?
Just that one professor?
Yes.
The ceramics professor? I
And a lot of my professors were really, really excited about what I was doing.
Good.
Excellent.
Good, because and here's the thing, as we talk about all the time with free speech, I don't have to agree with it, but it's your right to say it. And even if I don't agree with it and I don't like what I can always turn around and walk away.
Why don't you agree with what she's saying?
I was using it as an example.
That's not how I took it. I'm going to apologize for my partner. Because
So you must be extremely proud. You protected the First Amendment.
Yes.
You protected your fellow students and future students and their First Amendment rights.
Correct.
You were supporting the Second Amendment at the same time that you were in Texas. And you give a big middle finger to a ceramics professor.
Yes.
All at the same time.
all at the same time.
That's a good day.
Yeah. Now, have you since taken a sign and just walked around campus just because?
We did a lot of stuff.
That's what I like to hear right there. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Outstanding.
Because they really couldn't do anything, because then if they did anything, my master's degree would be paid for.
Right.
Basically. So they couldn't touch me for the year that I was there.
Tell me you had a sign that said, "I sued and won." Because I would actually have that on my backpack the entire time I went to school there.
If the lawsuit settled, the day of finals.
Wow.
So
Wow, that's weird,
it
huh?
lasted about a year. Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy. Well, it's an amazing story. I do like to hear stories about this. I'm not for frivolous lawsuits. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. This is obviously something that's extremely serious. We see it happening more and more on college campuses. We see these free speech zones. You're not allowed to say this. You can't hear this out. We've seen how many people have filed complaints because they feel uncomfortable with somebody's free speech. We have safe zones and all these other ridiculousness that's going on in college right now. And I applaud you for not just going away, for not just, okay, I'm sorry and I'm going to move on, but to actually stand up and defend yourself and other students. I think it's absolutely exceptional.
Thank you. I had no intention of a lawsuit. I just wanted to get students to show up to my first meeting.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So, look, where do you go from here? Like, you took on a college and you kicked their butt, right?
Right.
So, like, who do you take on next?
The government.
Nice.
All right. Hey, you know what? Keep having your goals and keep going for it. Have you?
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
But
Have you thought about maybe writing an essay or something about this in order to help other? Is that what you're thinking?
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
In order to help other
or
students,
yeah,
who may be in this situation, because I know and I'm 100% sure that this happens on a lot of campuses, and unfortunately, the students are so afraid that they're going to be targeted that they just go away. Have you ever thought about maybe documenting this so you can actually help other students retain their free speech that's guaranteed to them in the Constitution?
So I have wrote a couple blog posts. They're on the Young Americans for Liberty national website. And starting in the fall, I'll work for the Leadership Institute, and we'll be doing grassroots activism on college campuses 5 days a week.
Well, I happen to have an in on the Leadership Institute right here, so let me know if we can help, because they won't remember who we are. I really appreciate your time, but more importantly, I appreciate your will to fight for what was right and do it the right way. And I hope you realize that you've protected the Constitution, and that is something that as a private in liberty, as a private citizen, that's an amazing feat. And you took on essentially what could be a nightmare in your life, and you came out on top. So I applaud you, and thank you so much for telling your story.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the SHR Media Network live from Planet Hollywood at Freedom Fest 2016.
That was better on the outro.
More to come.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.